Hey everybody, it's your favorite gentleman, Marcus Norman of Gentleman Style Podcast Show. Today you all are going to be in for a very special treat. I have a friend of mine. This man is impactful and he's credible and he's a powerhouse value-added speaker. You won't want to miss 1 second of this topic. We're going to do something a little different this show. That's why I'm kind of setting the tone and setting the zone for this show, this episode. Him and I are going to be answering your questions, your commonly asked questions about relationships and dating. And what are the core things that is really on some of you ladies' minds? And so stay tuned, stay with us. You won't want to miss 1 second of this episode. And I hope this message helps up your game and helps you realize some of the things that may have not been known to you. So here we go. Hey everybody, this is Marcus Norman of Gentleman Style Podcast Show, and today I have a very special guest, my friend, Mr. Jairrod Burch. He's a motivational powerhouse speaker, a value-added speaker. He is the CEO and founder of Value on Purpose, LLC. His experience has brought him a vast array of knowledge, and he is an expert at value empowerment speaking, known author, advisor, and value life coach specialist. Help me welcome to the stage, Mr. Jairrod Burch.
What's good, sir?
What's good, Mr. Jairrod? We are proud to have you on the Gentleman Style Podcast Show. Round of applause, y'all. Round of applause. Mr. Jairrod, sir, it is my pleasure to have you on the Gentleman Style Podcast Show today. And today I wanted to ask, first off, what is a value on purpose? What is Value on Purpose LLC about, and what inspired your company?
Value on Purpose is my company speaking, coaching, and advising platform. What Value on Purpose is I'm able to have people to come to me who can only look at themselves, but when they come to me, I'm able to help them to see themselves. A lot of times we see ourselves as valuable when we work for a major corporation, a major company, or we live in a brand name neighborhood, or we have the clothes we have all the Facebook and social media followers. But that's not value. No matter what color, background, profession, way of life, culture, value and purpose is the two most asked questions on the planet. Number one, who am I? That's value. Number two, where am I going? That's purpose. And that's why I am an expert value empowerment speaker, because I'm able to help people to be able to bring clarity to what value really is in their life.
Can't argue with that. Cannot argue with that. I love it. I love it. That is dope. So diving right in, you all know me. You've all seen me. I'm Marcus Norman. Thank you for that breakdown, Mr. Burch. I am your host, Marcus Norman of Gentleman Style Podcast Show, and I've been with you for some time now, growing and learning and loving on you guys, and we have grown on this journey together, learning about the different things that make us tick, and that's what the purpose of this show is about, is to help you all help us get to a better place, whether it be relationship wise, business wise, And so I couldn't have found a better co-host with me tonight, Mr. Jairrod Burch, to help me go through this transition about talking about the things that ladies really want to know and the things that really want to burn through their minds about men. So I'm gonna throw this out to you, Mr. Jairrod. What are some things that you have seen that we are not doing right in relationships? What are the biggest issues you've seen today when it comes to women and men?
The first thing that would come to mind is unrealistic expectations. We have, because of the things that we've been through, both men and women, we tend to go into the relationship with a interrogation mindset or an interview mindset instead of just simply trying to get to know that individual. You wanting to know things about me versus you wanting to try to get to know me. It's two different things. And what we do is we come with this, okay, what do you have to offer? How are you going to better my life type of attitude? And there's nothing wrong with being an asset. However, when you make the other person feel as though they have to prove something, then you put them on guard, and now they're not worried about having a good time or just trying to be in the moment. They're trying to impress you. So now, since they have to impress you, now you can't be impacted because they feel either I can't be myself because you won't like the answer, or I don't measure up. So we have a lot of unrealistic expectations, and it's great to have goals. It's great to have a direction. It's great to have expectations, but when they're not realistic, it becomes a burden instead of a blessing.
Makes sense. Makes sense. I feel you, brother. I feel you. And I'm right there with you. We go into relationships with the wrong intentions. I call it leading with love. I think we need to do a better job of leading into relationships with love mindset versus this accusatory, accusing you. I call it, I prefer to go into a relationship with a blank slate, a blank canvas, and let the relationship evolve organically on its own. And if I don't like something, then I need to either address it or I need to leave. I think you get a better outcome that way. Going into relationships with that clear mindset, that clear canvas, and just a blank slate, and letting the person show you who they really are. Another question. Thank you, sir. Another great question that's commonly heard. Do men still believe in marriage? What are your thoughts, sir? Have we given up on the matrimony? Are men just going to be bachelors for the rest of our lives?
You know what? I don't think men have ever given up on marriage. I think men have waken up to the unrealistic expectations that are being placed on men concerning marriage, such as just because we get together and we embark on a life together, we get married, that man is the leader now of the household. He may be the leader of the household, but please understand, being the leader does not mean that you know what to do all the time. Being the leader does not mean you are not going to make plenty of mistakes. Being the head of the house does not mean you're going to have it all together. I think a part of that unrealistic expectation is you don't give them room to be human. You look at him as a role up until he does something that is not favorable in your eyes. Then all of a sudden now he feels I've let you down. You let him know you let us down. Now we're going to now you have to do this and that to get back the credibility, to get back in right standing with your family. Give that man some room to be human. Same thing with the woman. When you get married, you're not automatically going to become that perfect wife because there is no perfection. You're learning to grow with him. He's learning to grow with you. You guys are becoming one. So that's two individuals, two planets merging together as one. There's got to be some leeway, some give. He's not going to know all the great things. Even being a father, he's got to learn, just like she has got to learn. And I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions is that just because we don't take it anymore, that we don't want it anymore. We want great relationships. We just don't want the relationships under the terms where we cannot be our authentic self, good, bad, or ugly.
I feel you. I'm with you. Being yourself is key to finding good connections and good quality relationships. I couldn't have said it any better than that, brother, Mr. Burch, that you have to let her and him blossom into who God has truly intended them to be. And you need to provide, I think as men, we want to provide an atmosphere, an environment, a healthy environment for our kids and our wives and our families to flourish in the best way possible and become who they truly want to be. And I think that is every man's true desire ultimately, is to provide this space. But we also seek the same thing. We want the safe space. If I have to go, a man goes out into the world and already has to fight the world. I already have to deal with the issues of a bad boss and a bad employer. And in a society, in a country that wants to kill the black man, the safest space, the safest place that I have should be my home. And it's not anymore. And so that's where we're heading, and we need a course correction. So ultimately, men, we still want to be married. We still desire to be married. We just want it to be with the right person because we already have enough against us. The world is against us. So my home should be a safe space, and in turn should be a flourishing Garden of Eden for her as well. So we all want the same things. We just have to set it up that way. We have to want it. You have to be very, 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 very intentional. We're going to go to a short commercial break. We'll be right back, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Good day, podcast listeners. This is your boy, Marcus Norman of Gentleman Style Podcast Show. I wanted to let you guys know that we will be rolling out a new feature and adding a join sponsor button next to the subscriber button here at the bottom of your screen. Once you click the button, it will display 3 membership levels. Gentleman Gentry, which is our entry level, Duke Duchess, which is our season level, and the Emperor and Empress, which is our most sophisticated level, which you will receive unique perks and benefits at each differing level and gain access to our community tab. We will also be sharing polls, upcoming events, and interviews, as well as receive feedback from our sponsors directly. Your support helps me find new and exciting guests to bring to the stage live. Well, in order to get the higher end speakers, it requires, you guessed it, money. So thank you for tuning in to my channel. And if becoming a sponsor sounds good to you, then select the join button below and choose your desired sponsor level. Let's continue to grow and serve the future of generations of men and women to come. Love you guys. Bye. Hey everybody, we are back to the Gentleman Style Podcast Show. Thank you for staying with us. Thank you for staying tuned. We are breaking down and asking the very, very tough questions that women want to know about men. And if you missed it, if you missed what we just broke down, what we talked about what are the biggest issues between men and women today that we see today, and do men still desire to get married? If you missed that, scroll back, watch the replay of this. This is available on YouTube, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and wherever you get your podcast media from. Diving back in, Mr. Burch, is it okay to date multiple people when in the dating realm? Is it okay to have multiple partners in the courtship arena? What are your thoughts?
I would have to say that depends on that individual. Now, when you say multiple to one person could mean, two. As to another person, it could mean I'm about to turn up, and that's 20, 25. Personally, if you ask me, I would say it is okay because obviously if you are looking, and that's the preferred way you choose to look, and you're searching for something, and you have a plan, you have a standard, it's definitely okay to date. However, with that being said, just because it's okay doesn't mean you should just go ahead and wow out. It's best that you, number one, know what you're looking for. Know what you want, but know what you don't want. And along with that, going back to the unrealistic expectations, have expectations, definitely, but be able to match what you are asking from someone else. If you have all of these things and you're asking for, make sure that you can match the same things. You're looking for somebody to look a certain way, have a certain lifestyle, have all of this or all of that. That's great. But can you match what you're looking for? It's definitely okay to date, but definitely have a plan and have a standard.
I feel you. Thank you for breaking that down. Dating multiple people at the same time. I'm going to take the stance that I've always taken, and that is no. I take a firm stance against dating multiple people at the same time because of the ramifications and the aftermath that is left behind in its wake. And I'll explain that here in a second. My first point, we are creatures of habit. We do things.
Right.
If you do something long enough, consistently enough, it becomes a habit. And so if my intention is to marry one woman, why would I practice the habit of having multiple people or entertaining multiple people at the same time? That's my first point. So I don't want to practice something that I don't intend to keep. So I don't want to develop that muscle. I don't want to develop the habit of entertaining. If I'm a man, I don't want to practice the habit of entertaining multiple women at the same time. And if I'm a woman, I definitely don't want to practice the habit, or I shouldn't want to practice the habit of entertaining multiple men at the same time. If a single individual marriage is the goal, if that's not your goal, then that's a whole different topic. But if you intend to have one partner, why would you practice something that you cannot do in marriage? So that's my first point. My second point is the aftermath of dating multiple people is causing a rift in the relationship spectrum. And so if I date 4 women and I believe in marrying one of them at some point, whether it be 1 week, 6 weeks, or 12 years from now, at some point, I'm have to pick one of them. So guess what I've now done? I've selected the one good one that I want to spend the rest of my life with. And I've created 3 broken hearts in the process. And so a lot of us feel that the dating arena is full of pee. Well, we're creating the pee because now I have wasted the time of 3 people. These are human beings. These aren't robots. These aren't machines. These are human beings with feelings and emotions and time. And time is something we cannot get back. And so what you end up causing is these three hearts that are now feeling broken and feeling a way about, hey, I just gave this guy or I just gave this gal the best of me. And I've wasted time, energy, and resources. They've met my kids. They've met my family. I've introduced them to certain parts of me that no one else has even seen. And I cannot get that back. And so what happens the next time? Now I've released these people and said, hey, I've committed. I'm no longer interested. I'm just entertaining the one person. Well, now guess what these three broken hearts are going to do when they enter the relationship pool again? They're going to be jaded. They're gonna be guarded. They're gonna be scared to give again because they lost so much the first time. And so that's why you run into these men who don't want to take you on a date. They don't want to take you out to dinner. They don't want to spend any time or resources because they wasted so much of it already with someone else who didn't pick them. And so you now create men. You're creating the same thing that you hate. And I think it comes from a very selfish heart to keep someone entertained when you ultimately aren't going to choose them. And so you're creating the very problem that you don't want to experience. And so we need to stop that. You need to, I feel, and I practice the habit of dating one at a time. And that's a long-winded answer, but I hope I didn't confuse anyone, and I hope you all got my point. And so, any rebuttal to that, Mr. Jairrod?
I think that I think different things are going to work for different people, right?
Sure.
Because I think, but the most important thing is, even though we may have different preferences, different styles of dating, one thing that we can't escape is being mature, being authentic, and being transparent. I believe that if you show up when you're talking about dating someone, if in the beginning you put it out there on the table what you are looking for, then nobody leaves confused and feels like, number one, I was ghosted, or I didn't know this was going to happen. You were looking for others. So if I show up and I'm intentional, my expectation says, I'm going to let you know this is what I'm looking for. This is how I'm going to approach it. I'm also going to be looking for other people. If you can handle this, we can move forward. If this is not something that you can handle, it's not your cup of tea, then by all means, we can part ways and nothing is lost. I think the problem comes when someone is not upfront about their intentions and they don't let the other individuals know what they're doing. And then when they do find somebody who they catch a vibe with, they love their energy, then all of a sudden they ghost the others. Well, if you let the other individuals know up front, not just what you're looking for, but you let them know the method and how you're going to be moving, then I'm not caught off guard. Then I know up front what I can agree to and what I can disagree to. I think that as long as you stay mature, as long as we approach things as adults, then we can maintain and not have anybody feeling jaded or feeling some type of way because that person is not calling me anymore. We don't have that same vibe anymore. We're on the same page when we meet. So when we leave each other's presence, we know exactly what's going on. I think that cannot be avoided. You have to stay mature and you have to be intentional.
Absolutely. I hear you. We have a question from our audience members, but not more importantly, Miss Letitia Elliott. She's a VIP sponsor of the show. Thank you for your sponsorship. We appreciate you. We love you here at the Gentleman Style Podcast. She has a question. Is there a difference in long-term dating and going on a date?
Is there a difference between long-term dating and going on a date?
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm not seeing the problem here. Hopefully I'm getting it right, because when she means long term, is she saying long distance? Or when you say long term, as in we are in a relationship?
Great question. We will come back to you, Miss Elliott, if you can give us some amplifying information on your question.
Just a little bit of clarity.
A little bit of clarity, my love. Please, please, please. I'm going to continue. So she said time. She followed up with time.
Time. Okay. Help me understand that more so I can break it down for you.
Is there a difference in long-term dating and going on a date? And the difference, I guess, is there a time difference? And immediately
go
ahead.
Is there a time difference? Well, what I'm gathering is there a difference between someone, or is there a set time, to say, okay, we're now past the dating stage and we can move on?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what she's saying that you think?
That might be it. Is there, give us some more. I don't want to guess for her. Give us some more amplifying. She said yes. Yep. Go ahead.
Okay. Definitely. There's definitely a time limit. You want a time limit because you don't want to give someone, I've learned this in business, but it applies to life. You don't want to give someone enough time to waste your time. If you're intentional, let them know up front, okay, because you're not going to be dating just to be dating. You're dating for a purpose. If you're dating for a purpose, then you are on a schedule. So your schedule says, okay, we can date. If I'm feeling you and I feel like you're feeling me, then we're going to gravitate towards one another. And you shouldn't be still calling yourself dating and you're up to 4 and 5 months. To be honest, I would say after the first month, after 1 month, then now, and you guys are feeling each other, then it needs to go from dating to courting, because now I'm not entertaining anybody else. I'm exclusively moving towards you. So yes, there should be a time limit on dating.
There you go. I'm not going to touch that. He said it. There's a time limit on dating. So great response. Keep them coming, y'all. Keep them coming. We are loving this. And she responds, thank you. So she says, so I guess it goes back to communication. Yes, it always starts with communication. Communication is a part of that foundation. So yes. Mr. Burch.
Yes.
Why aren't men pursuing our women anymore?
Well, there's a difference between a man pursuing a woman and a man chasing a woman. A lot of women nowadays, they want to be chased. They don't want to be pursued. There's a difference. The difference is when something is being chased, it has no intent of being caught.
Ooh.
That's called a game. We don't have time for that. But when I'm pursuing you, that means we are both in agreement that I'm feeling what you are feeling, and I now have your permission to pursue you with a purpose.
I love that. That's dope. That's dope. Are men pursuing women? Men are still pursuing women, but I'm a firm believer that men, like all of us, don't want to waste their time. Nobody wants to feel like their time is being wasted because life is too short and there's only a certain amount of time throughout the day and throughout our lifespan. And men are now coming to the realization that what I expressed earlier in my previous comment, in my previous answer, where the broken hearts example. And so men are being very intentional about who they pursue, but also they want to know that who they're pursuing wants them as well, which leads to the point of chasing and pursuing. If I'm chasing you and you have no intentions of being caught, or or this is just a game to you, men are now realizing that, hey, this is going nowhere. And so what we're doing is we're being very intentional, and we're catching on it very quickly to someone that wants to be chased and someone that wants to be pursued. That being said, men want who wants them. And so if I'm pursuing you and you have no interest in me, I'm not going to continue to pursue you until you decide to make up your mind.
Right.
I'm not doing that. I'm not a court jester. I'm not performing for you. Right. So you need to make up your mind the same way I am when I'm pursuing you, and I'm being very vocal about it, that I want you and I desire you and I desire to see where this goes. You need to come to the realization, if you're not interested in me, to say you're not interested in me, versus hoping down the road that maybe, I'll like him then, or maybe, I'll fall in love with him later on. So you allow me to chase you in this seemingly never-ending cat and mouse, and that's not what we're doing anymore. Men,
you see, the biggest difference that we're talking about is you're talking about a man and not just a male. A man is going to want to pursue because we're talking about purpose. But if you want to play games, then the chase is for the man or the male who is not worried about purpose. He's okay with playing the game.
Yeah.
So that, that's a huge difference. You have to know, number one, who is in front of you, what type of man you're dealing with, and what type of signals are you giving off. Remember, when you are talking about chasing, that means he has to hide. You have to hide. You've got to pop out. You've got to play. But the one thing you cannot escape is that you can't get away from the accountability of your personal actions as a woman. You can't say, okay, he's chasing me. Well, he's only chasing you because of the energy and the vibe and the actions he is seeing from you. If you want to be chased, start running. If you want to be pursued, start growing.
I wasn't expecting that. I'm sorry, y'all. I wasn't expecting that. We have one more quick commercial break. You guys don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Stay with us. We love you guys. This is dope. This is incredible. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned to the Gentleman Style Podcast Show. We'll be right back.
Yes, sir.
If you're looking for a reliable professional trucking and logistics service, you've come to the right place. Musa Trucking is a veteran-owned and operated premier transportation provider that can help with all of your trucking and logistics needs. Musa is revolutionizing the trucking industry through strategic partnerships, the development of core personnel, and the use of cutting-edge technology. Our inventory system ensures that cargo ends up divided into the right trucks and reaching the correct destination. Our drivers are dedicated to transporting goods efficiently and safely. Contact us today to get started by visiting the website on the screen or by calling 757-756-5246.
Hey everybody, if you're tuning into the Gentleman Style Podcast Show, we are on iHeartRadio, iTunes, Spotify, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Apple Play, Google Play, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcast media today. And so we have the incredible Mr. Value himself, Jairrod Burch, and we are answering the questions that you all ladies want to know about the insides and the thinkings of men. And if you missed that, scroll back, go back, tune back in. If you missed that, we are spilling the tea onto your most delicate questions. Mr. Burch, Brother,
Yes, sir.
you've been killing it all night. The question of the evening, and this is fire. And I really, this is really kind of, it's kind of personal for me because I grew up in a mixed home, and so I wanted to share it out there and put it out there and see where this goes. And so, can a single mother teach a boy how to be a man?
Absolutely not. And I'll tell you why. I am the youngest boy of, it's 5 boys. There were 5 boys in my household, no girls. I was the youngest. And my mother and father divorced. And my mother, with the help of God and my grandmother, raised my brothers and I, right?
Right.
So I'm telling you something that I lived. My mother will tell you this. My mother can show me how to be a respectable citizen, how to be a great Christian, how to be, different rules, different standards she can implement. However, my mother's job was never to teach me how to be a man. So can a woman instill greatness into a young boy? Absolutely. Can a woman influence a young boy greatly? Absolutely. But the best thing a woman can do when raising a young boy is to get great men role models so that he can become what he sees. Because if I went up to a young boy who had never seen television before and I told him, "Come here, sir. Hey, do me a favor. Show us all what Superman would do." He would look at you like, "Huh? Why?" Because you cannot be what you have not seen. He doesn't know Superman because he hasn't seen it. It is not the mother's responsibility to teach the young boy how to be a man. It is the mother's responsibility when she is single to put him in position with other great men so they can influence his life. Influence is teaching, but she cannot teach me how to be a man because there are things within a man and as a man that she cannot teach. Same thing, I cannot teach a young girl how to be a woman because I'm lacking. But you have to be strong enough and wise enough, mature enough to know, even though I can't give him what I would like to, I can put him in position so he can receive what he needs. That's what's to happen.
I'm letting that sink in a minute. So no, I stand by my brother, Mr. Burch. You cannot teach a single mom was not destined, was not created, was not meant to teach a boy how to be a man. And so I follow the same mindset. I grew up with my father and my mother living separately, and I didn't come into myself. I didn't find at one point there was an extended period of time where I lived full time with my mother, and I was lacking. I was missing a lot of core principles. I was missing the strength behind a man, the gentleman behind the man.
Right.
And it's when my father came and got me, those voids, those gaps were filled. And it solidified a lot of things that I wasn't even aware of that I was missing on how to treat women, how to how to handle certain situations, how to handle emotions. My father was a very emotionally intelligent man. And so crying was a transition for me, handling certain transitions, falling down, riding a bike, doing yard work, doing chores, cutting grass. These are core principles that these are loving a woman, loving God, and loving me for who I am came from my father. Right? You see, these the women that I meet, they sit there and say, I'm gonna teach him how to love a woman. You need to teach him how to love himself, and you can't do that for me because you don't have what I have, and you never will. You weren't designed that way. And so I stand by my brother, Mr. Burch. And so it is very important to get that young man, that young boy, around wholesome, solid men, so he can see the love in action. He can see not just you dating your son and having your son pay for you at dinner, right? There's a lot more to loving a woman than taking her out to a fancy restaurant, right? And so, just like Mr. Burch said, I need to see that. I need to see that love personified through my father loving my mother, right? This is what it looks like. This is the feeling I get when I see it in action. This is what happens emotionally, and this is what it's supposed to look like. And so that would never, that can't happen because I'm missing a piece of myself when my father is absent in that stage of my development.
Absolutely.
I'm just running through the comments. Miss Kenya Hunt, I cannot teach how to be something I don't even know how to be, which is a man. And Miss
the greatest thing we can do, one of the greatest things and abilities that women have is influence. Men have authority, but authority needs influence. Women have influence, and influence does not need authority. Use your influence. Put that young man in position where he can, you may not have ever played a lick of basketball in your life, because guess what? You don't have to play basketball to put him in position to learn basketball skills. And that's the whole thing about being mature. When you're mature and you don't have a certain skill set, or you're lacking in some area, it's okay. Take him and put him around those who can and around those who do have what you are lacking. And the thing is, you're not supposed to have it all. Yeah. So put him in a place, use your influence, put him in a place and a position where he can not only hear, but he can see and become.
This has been a powerful, dynamic show. I thank you all for taking the time out of your busy day to tune in and listen. Ladies who are here today, I commend you, and I want to give you all a round of applause for taking time out of your busy day to be here, because being here says something about you, that you are open to listen to us and listen to what we have to say. And that's a part of communication, right? The fact that you are here today and listening to this show means you are willing to grow with us. And that is necessary. That is the only way we're going to get through this together. So I love you guys. Thank you all for supporting the show. We have to give Mr. Burch back to his brand and back to his company. We are out of time, but I appreciate you all for tuning into the Gentleman Style Podcast Show. Mr. Burch, brother, thank you, sir. I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for making time for us today. Thank you for giving back in this way.
Man, no problem. I appreciate you and your audience. Thank you guys so much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I want to say thank you all for tuning into the Gentleman Style Podcast Show. I hope this message has served you, and I hope this helps take your mindset and not necessarily change your mind, but gives you some solid material and solid value. Got it. Bring some solid value to you. And I hope this has impacted your help. I hope this helps, because that's what this show is all about. It's about you and serving you. So thank you all for tuning in. I love you guys. Like I always end every show, take care of your friends, take care of your family, and always, always take care of business. This is Marcus Norman of Gentleman Style Podcast Show, your favorite host, and Mr. Value himself, Jairrod A. Burch. Love you guys.
Yes, sir.
Bye.